A big shout out to Eniola and Idime for hosting our basketball and Formula One segment. That was quite interesting. But now let's give the people what they want. This football segment. If you're not what's over.
I'm good. How you
Great
doing?
to have you here.
It's always a pleasure to be around you.
You've been like the most consistent face in terms of analysis for TSO.
I think
How does that feel?
I think it's coincidence.
Come on, bro. Stop being humble. You need to. You've got to the point where you need to stop being humble.
No, but I think it's coincidence. Number one, it helps that I'm around, right? Then number two, it's always cozy around here. I mean, there's the full good factor, so it's always a pleasure to be here.
Always a pleasure to talk football with you. Big shout out to everyone in this, in the audience. I can see new faces today. Big shout out to you, my G. We use the TSL community. Kenny, I must give shout out to Kenny. We're waiting your next episode. Well, let's get into it and let's start Arsenal City. That was the big game of last weekend. For the first time in a very long time, I saw Arsenal, I don't say dominate, but I saw Arsenal take the game to to City, sorry. And City had only 4 shots on goal. That's the first time since 2013 anything like that has happened to a Pep Guardiola team. So my question to you is this the dawn for Arsenal now? It's now or never, definitely, because the barrier last season was they couldn't beat City. Yes, they went off when Saliba got injured, and those 3 draws kind of messed things up. But is this the time for Arsenal? Is this it?
Okay, so I don't think the answer is a definite yes. First things first, I think the most important thing for them to beat the most important thing from the victory yesterday was upstairs, right? Now, if you feel that you have to win the Premier League today, you have to beat Pep Guardiola's City side to the title.
Definitely.
Now, if you can get one over your rivals head to head, it does a lot for you upstairs, right? It's a psychological boost. Remember, Arsenal defeated City in the Community Shield as well. So right now, it looks like they are winning the battle of wits, right? So I feel like it's a very good one for them. That's number one. Number two, I personally don't buy into the idea that it's now or never, right? If you look at the core of the Arsenal squad, they're mostly young players, right? They're players that are yet to get to their peak, right? You look at players like Bukayo Saka, you look at players like Martin Odegaard, you look at players like Gabriel Martinelli, you look at players like even Gabriel Jesus. They look like they have 3, 4, 5 good years in them, right? So they can still put together title runs in them. But looking at yesterday's game, I thought it was a very good game. I saw a lot of comments about the match being boring and whatnot. People said it was chess, it was checkers. I think my plain description is people play chess and checkers and they find it interesting. Yeah. So even if it's highly tactical, if it leaves slim margin for error or something, it depends on what you want to watch. I remember when Guardiola first burst onto the scene, then he used to say something about if I'm with the ball, I can't concede a goal. Right, so you saw 2 teams that wanted to dictate play and they were still very, very careful and respectful of what the opponent was doing to them. City had 4 shots yesterday, 2 were in the first 5 minutes, right? And it was because at that point the game was still a quote open. Now Gadio off the line by Rice, Ake over the bar, and Arsenal know, okay, we have to do better. We can't start slow like this in front of the house. And going into the later stages of the game, you could see the substitutions and what both managers were trying to do. You could see that, Rico Lewis, the experiment was done. Kovacic, let's save him from a red card. Alvarez not really in the game. You can see how they also wanted to elevate, that's Arsenal.
Yeah.
Havertz for Nketiah, Gabriel Martinelli for Trossard who didn't look fit and all of that. So I thought it was a very good game. I thought it was a very good audition for potential title challengers on both sides. I also thought that it brought about the impact of missing key players on both sides. I thought Arsenal looked a bit very blunt without Saka and Martinelli at the start. When Martinelli came on second half, they looked a lot better. I also thought that City looked maybe a bit vulnerable in the first phase without Rodri, and they looked like they lacked creativity without De Bruyne. So it's a good one. I mean, looking forward to the second leg already because I don't know when the second leg is, but I know it'll be at the tail end. It'll be at business end of City. It's going to be at the Etihad. Probably they'll be in and around each other by then, and it's probably going to be another 6-pointer by then. So this mental fortitude that these guys could have gotten from this game, that's where we will see the real thing. I hope Arsenal is in front of City when they play the second leg. So City don't do the whole contain and counter. I want them to play ball, right? I always like when City is in position where they have to attack, where they have to play ball. That's where you can enjoy their football. More often than not, if what they just do is they recycle the ball, they drag you out of position and all of that, and they get professional job done. If you want to see City play well, it's when they're under pressure. So I'm actually looking forward to that. I like what Arsenal is doing to them anyway.
Brilliantly said. Oga rest. Well, yeah, as always, I like to make this a community conversation, and starting with Ois. Do you agree with Ife Dotun where he said this City team is a better team when they play under pressure, right? That's what he said. Well, that's what you'd like to see them. So my question to you is, does this, watching that Arsenal that played City yesterday, do you think they are capable of sustaining a proper challenge this year?
No, they are not. And I'll explain. Before the game yesterday, me and you went back and forth in person and even on the board, and you said that Arsenal need one against City, right, to go for the league. I said Arsenal don't need this game to go for the league. Arsenal were already my Premier League contender this season because of my 8-8-5-2-1 agenda of Pep doing 8-8, 5th, second. So this season is first. And it seemed like it was coming, but let's be honest, Arsenal have had really bumpy games this season. Nottingham Forest 2-1, Palace 0-1, Fulham 2-2, Spurs 2-2. The only convincing game is against one of the most useless sides that conceded 75 goals last season in AFC Bournemouth. I did not hear this. And yesterday we saw that it was still, sorry to say, but it was a tight game. So the 3 points they got yesterday, they've already dropped it in 2 home London derbies against Fulham and Spurs. So yesterday's game, yes, mentally it's a win, but when you look at the fact that they dropped 2 points to Fulham, they will go to Craven Cottage. They dropped 2 points to Spurs, they will go to Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. There's still a lot I need from Arsenal, and I think Arteta that has tried to build this is still trying so hard to break it in so many ways. I don't look at Arteta and see that he's going to go for a striker in January. You'll feel like Nketiah, Jesus, Trossard can play there. I don't look at Arteta and see he's going to go for a right winger. I still feel like Arteta is very stubborn in some ways and he might not do one or two. But I will have to agree with Ife Dotun to say that the sweetest City is when you're under pressure. Like after back-to-back wins, it's not against City to do 15 wins in a row in Premier League. That's the truth. Like we've seen it not once, not twice, in and around 3 or 4 times. But what my issue is yes, Arsenal have gotten over some mental battles. For example, Goodison Park, they won City. But there are still some games that I still need to see this Arsenal prove that they are better. For example, Liverpool away. For example, last season I think they drew Brentford, with VAR controversy and all. So it's still early. They are still my picks because I feel like Pep will want to try and compete on all fronts, and Arsenal will have a deep Champions League run. So that's still the point I'm still going to use to say that I think Arsenal will still go ahead and win the league.
Thank you so much for that, Oyes. The next person I'm going to is the only person that lost this weekend. Actually, we are going to be trolling him all throughout the international break. He's a Man City fan. Let's talk about your team, and let's talk about is this the most vulnerable you've seen Manchester City since you started supporting them? I know that's very recent, by the way. But, so, is this the most vulnerable you've seen your team?
Yeah, actually, because of the way our midfield is structured, I know the last time I talked about something like this on the field, Oyes was trying to drag me about me saying that we had a bad squad. But it's as honest as it can be. Our squad is not the best squad right now. We have injury problems. We have a red card problem. Rodri just had a red card and we've lost all the 3 matches that he had not featured in. And so it just shows that as much as we want to say that we are the best, you understand, but we are dependent on so many people as in individual people right now.
I'm sorry, let me hold you there. That's shocking because before we know Pep to be able to deal without all these contingencies. Aguero, when you guys were able to play without a striker, the time he went winning the league without Kevin De Bruyne, he didn't even, I don't know how many games he played. So why is this an issue now? Exactly, Laporte didn't play again, but why are we hearing that you're having issues now?
Alright, when we did not have Kevin De Bruyne at the other side, we had people like Onana that were able to step up to the plate and then play the football. Right now, we just came from a season where we just sold almost all our creative players. So right now, we don't really have creative players in the team. We have a goal scorer, and even the person of Alvarez, also a very good goal scorer. we have people like Foden that you will expect to take up the creative space, but it's also in that goal scoring option more than a creative option. So right now, the problem Man City is facing, or we are facing, it's not that we don't have the players that can be there. We don't just have the creative minds right now on the team or in the team. We've just sold Mahrez, we've sold Gundogan, Kevin De Bruyne is injured, Rodri with an injury. Rodri is not even a creative. He's that kind of player that can step up to be a creative player or an attacking player. Or we don't really, like they were saying last season, you don't even know where he is. He's everywhere. He can do everything. That kind of thing. I think those are the problem we are having right now with Man City, and it's something that Pep, I know, is thinking about how he can tackle it. And don't worry, we've been here before. It's early days, and we'll do it again.
All right. Thank you very much, Chus. Ifeanyi, like I said, and you believe the best city is the city under pressure.
Yeah,
so
obviously.
The only last talking point I think we can squeeze out of that City-Arsenal game is Erling Haaland. There are a lot of people that said this man did not look like the world best player claims that it's been having in a very long time. And the truth is that at games like this, are they the type of games where you say, you just raise your hands up and say, this guy, if nobody is breastfeeding him, he's not showing quality.
Okay, so I believe in profiles a lot, right? If I want to talk about the footballer, I need to know what you're about, I need to know what you do, I need to know what you can do before I even make a decision on if you're good, not good, world class. You know all those killers that they always put players on. Personally, I think that what Haaland did yesterday is what Haaland's all about, right? You run up and down, you try to scrape and all of that. We know that he's very, 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 very decisive in the box, right? It's one of they talk about Yakubu back in the days. You feed the yak and you score, right? But in a team where, Chuk said, most of their creative outlets were out-to-dodge, Haaland is not that player that will manufacture his shots or his chances or on his own. All of us know that. So I don't think anybody is surprised by his performances yesterday. What would have been surprising is if he got multiple chances and he managed to throw all of them. I think even before 5 minutes, he created a very good chance for Nathan Ake. Yeah, and I mean, it's his fault. It's one small header in the box, right? So it's more of, I know what he can do, and the game did not exactly play to his tune. It's not every striker that is a Thierry Henry or a Luis Suarez or a Ronaldo de Lima that will just make something out of their own. People have different profiles, right? It's something in the line of, sometimes Harry Kane will not score, but you know that he has it to create chances, he has it to shoot from 25, 30 yards. We all know that Haaland is not that type of player. So I just feel like yesterday's game did not exactly favour him. So it's not a big deal as far as I'm concerned. He's still leading the league in goals scored. He'll probably win the Golden Boots this season again. So I don't think it's a big deal. I personally don't think it's a big deal.
Well said. Well, it was an interesting game for me. I don't know if those that said it's boring. I thought that was a tactical game.
Sweet ball, man.
I mean, at the end of the day, I think Arsenal deserved to win.
Yes.
Let's move to our player of the week in the Premier League. Thank you, Timmy, for that. Scott McTominay, who scored a brace against Brentford. But the person I want to talk about in that game is Andre Onana. I saw him run to celebrate with Scott McTominay. And did you feel he was a bit... did you feel guilty?
So the first thing I'll say is, if it's you run to Andre McTominay, right? I think that Onana has been under the microscope for a number of games now, right? And there's no denying that he has lost a bit of confidence. Right? Remember when he just came into United, Maguire's first mistake or something like that, and he goes to Maguire and is like, I expect you to do better. Now, he has made errors in a couple of games, and there's no, all of us, even if you've not played ball in Premier League level, I think everybody has played ball in, even if it's a 5-a-side or whatnot, if you keep on making mistakes, it will eat into your confidence. I think it shown great character at different points in time this season. I think one of the points was at Bayern Munich, when he came out to do the post-match interview. I think he made good saves against Brentford to keep United in the game as well. He could have easily been 2-0 at certain points in time. But I think it's time for him to sit up, right? He was rescued by McTominay. So in the Palace game, United lost 1-0. The goal wasn't his fault, but there was nobody to rescue. Do you understand? It's not every game where you make a mistake that somebody will come to rescue you. So I feel like he knows it, right? And you can see the relief. Coincidentally, I was talking to just before the set that when McTominay scored the second goal, the emotion I felt was mostly relief. It wasn't like happiness or whatnot. It was mostly, okay, it's 3 points. It's 3 points. Let's just take it. It's 3 points, right? I'm sure that that's the exact way he felt. There's this interview from Schumacher where he says he has spoken to Onana and it's obvious that it's a bit short on confidence. I mean, the media reach-out is not going to help. I mean, it's expected. If you're United, everything you do that's good will be exaggerated. Everything that you do that is bad will be under the microscope. But I think for his own good, he needs to sit up and he needs to improve drastically. I felt like if we even want to watch the replay of the Brentford goal, people can be pedantic and pick on Casemiro losing the ball or Lindelof failing to clear the ball, but we all agree that definitely he should have been doing better with that shot. So it's one of those. Ten Hag has made a big call, right? They released David De Gea at the end of his contract. He has brought in a goalkeeper with big money. I just feel that he knows it. Everybody knows it. He needs to step up, right? It's difficult for a team to play the way they want to play if you know that there is a mistake in the last season, right? And you know the funny thing about this is last season looked very assured. The previous season Ajax looked very, very assured and all of that. So I just think it might be a difficult phase. Again, season is still very early. You know, like we said last time we spoke about Onana, it's possible that you get to a phase where you know that, oh, it's time to sell your stock. Yeah. Or right now, full support. It's 8 games this season. You can't throw your 60 million signing under the bus yet. Do you understand? Yeah. If not, how do you go back to the board and say, I want money to sign on that player? So you have to get the best out of him. Do you understand? It's a no-brainer. It's 2 weeks international break. I don't know what they want to do for him. If it's extra practices, if it's therapy, if it's deliverance, they have to get it right? It's Sheffield after the break, then City, right? So it will be tested again and again. First from area balls, direct football against Sheffield, then against City, wounded Lions, obviously. Do you understand? So I feel like if he has to step up now, is the time. Now is the time. Yeah.
So let me go to somebody who actually came to this show to ask you this question. He has been waiting for this segment all through. Tope, you have a question for Ifeanyi.
So, Ifeanyi, I'm kind of hoping that you soften your tone on your stance of Onana, because I remember last time when I asked you the hair of Onana, and you were like, yeah, we should give him time,
Oh, nothing has changed in regards to that.
Yes, but now you're now saying maybe it's therapy, it's low on confidence. To me, you're giving him excuses. My thing is, I asked you between Onana and De Gea, right? And let me just pull up some stats for you, right? Per 90 minutes basis, okay. 2022-2023
oh, no, it's fine. Yeah.
Right? Now, Onana prides himself, or Manchester United.
This is crazy.
The excuse you guys give for getting Onana is the fact that distribution, right? Now, per 90 minute basis, David De Gea, which distribution is probably not his strong suit, 69%, Onana 76%. So that means there's just a difference of 7%, right? That's not good enough for dropping someone like De Gea. Now I'm going to clean sheet. De Gea 0.43%, Onana 0.3%. So that means that when it comes to actually saving points for you, Onana is trash. Errors leading to a goal, David De Gea 0.07%, Onana 0.1%. You can see the difference.
Sorry to cut you short, right?
Yes, please.
And this is a problem I have when we talk football all the time.
Let me just land first.
Okay.
Save percentage. David De Gea 70%. Onana 66%. So interpretation is simple, right? When it comes to passing, the whole reason why you guys bounced with David De Gea, who is a legend, who has been one of the best goalkeepers in the Premier League, pre-Ederson and pre-Alisson. You bounced him because of his passing. The difference is just 7%. David De Gea 69%, Onana 76%. Just 7%. That's not good enough reason. Clean sheet 0.43%, Onana 0.3%. Errors leading to a goal 0.07%, Onana 0.1%. Same percentage 70% De Gea, 66% Onana. So again, I used to stand, and again, this is just per 90% basis. So
Wow.
this is just 90 minutes basis. This is just 90 minutes basis. This is just Premier League. This is just Premier League. If I had what's the Champions League with Galatasaray, it would be worse. So this is just Premier League, and this is per 90 minutes. We are not even talking about the whole thing, just per 90 minutes. So again, my question is this: they hear Onana. You said give Onana chance. Give Onana chance. Give him some time. Do you still stand on the fact that letting De Gea go was the right choice?
The fact that he paid the least, the stats that he paid the least attention to is the stats with the biggest margin. Now, it says 7% in passing is too small to drop in. Meanwhile, in the stats that De Gea has an advantage, none of them is up to 7%. Right? It's very 0.0. He said 0. Call the numbers again.
Wait, let me interpret it to you.
Call the numbers again.
Yes, no, I agree with you 7%.
Okay.
Let me explain something to you.
Wait. No, I'm not done. I want you to finish first.
No.
So call it again.
Wait. No. Please, let me just interpret what you just said. You said the main stats.
Yeah.
Now, again, I am simply saying you dropped Onana, you dropped them here for Onana because of the distribution and because of the passing. Are you telling me categorically that 7% is justification enough for a person to drop a keeper that saves you more points, has more clean sheets, has made less errors, and
So hold on. So that's why I said yeah. So that's why I said that.
points is based on your
Oh no. So Tope,
about clean sheet.
can I answer you?
About 6%.
Okay, so good. So you know, I like I said the last time when I was asked this question, I feel that football, when we talk about football, a lot of it has become very, very simplistic. Simplistic in the sense that people think that the number one thing that a goalkeeper has to do is to make saves. Now, if you watch everybody, right, top teams, bottom teams, when you have the ball, everybody plays with 11 players, and when you're without the ball, everybody defends with 11 players. I remember the last time we spoke about United this show, and I told here that when big teams play like a close fist. We watched the Arsenal City game yesterday. You saw how both teams play with fists closed. United play like this, right? It's easy to play through United. Now you've brought out good stats, right? I mean, I'm not going to deny that, but again, it boils down to when we watch football for agenda, you don't see the beauty in certain things. For example, there's a 7% reduction in passing, right? There's a 4% reduction in shot stopping, 70 to 66. If you think that 7% increase is not good enough to replace the game, why do you think a 4% reduction in shot stopping is good enough? Okay, so again, what do you think 7% increase in passing does for United?
Wait, so in terms of 70% passing, my point is this. They hear compared to Onana. I agree with you that 7% is good for Onana.
No,
my question is this. We are talking about dropping someone for someone. We are talking about a whole package. We are talking about someone who passes and still saves you a lot of points, at 1 point, and someone who passes and loses and costs you 1 point. So are you telling me that 7% is justification enough for you to drop here for Onana?
At this point last season, how many points did United have? Okay, since you are the stats man, can you check please? That's number one. Wait. Number two, at this point last season, I'll tell you for free, United have considered 19 goals. This season, United have considered 19 goals again at this exact same point. Against Brentford, Onana made a mistake. Against Brentford last season, they made at least 3 mistakes in that second game of the season. There is no mistake that Andre Onana has made this season that David Gea did not do worse last season. I can tell you games off the top of my head. Against West Ham, against Brentford, against Sevilla, against City, against Arsenal, against Liverpool. They are games that ball practically went through David Gea. If you go and look for Brentford's first goal in the 4-0 win over United last season, you would not believe your eyes, right? I feel like people, when they talk about David Gea, they talk about the year of 2017, 2018, 2019. I'm a United fan. I can tell you categorically, you don't watch United up to the way I do. One. Number two, you cannot love David De Gea more than I do. At one point, when something is a cancer to you, it's best to cut it off unless you lose the whole thing. Remember, De Gea was not sold. It was not kicked out. His contract expired. You have to put that into consideration. It's a different thing for you to put someone on the sale list and all of that. See, again, that's what I always say about United. If I tell you that Hugo Lloris is still in Spurs, he has been stripped of captain badge, he has not played a single minute. No media, nobody talks about it, right? It's because obviously it's not hot cake in markets. Nobody wants to prey on that or whatnot, right? And it's this same pressure that everybody puts on players like Andre Onana. I'm very happy that he has, number one, the charisma, number two, the confidence, right? And I don't know if it's a doggedness that even when he makes mistakes, you can see that, oh, okay, I'm responsible for my. I think when I got tired of the number one attribute that I came to dislike the most was the girl being docile. In the sense that if the girl makes a mistake, that's the end of the game. It's done and dusted. It will hang his head for the rest of the game. No encouragement for his players. No, you see, Onana made a save, ball went out for corner. You can see the high fives up and down, like, let's get over the line or whatnot. And the girl will just. It doesn't make his previous years bad, and I think that's where the misunderstanding is coming from. A lot of people think that because it was time to cut ties, because it was time to move on from the game, people are disrespecting his past years. No, between 2011 when he signed and up until maybe 2019, 2020, he was an asset in that team. But it got to the stage where he became a net negative. We talk about points, we talk about saves made last season. If you check the differentials in terms of shot stopping, it was a negative. At one point, out of 108 keepers in the top 5 leagues, the guy was ranked 80th in shot stopping. That's not a good goalkeeper as far as I'm concerned. Shot stopping is supposed to be his number one strength. You can't be 80 out of 108 and people think that you're good. Talking about the man that replaced him, Andre Onana is a contender for the Ballon d'Or this season. He's also a nominee for the Leviation Award. You cannot say that that person is bad because of 8 games. When last season, the exact same 8 games, United were in and around the same position. And I consider 6 goals to City, 4 to Brentford, I think 2 against Brighton, 1 against Liverpool. Here and there, by the time you add the maths, it's about the same number of goals with errors in between them from David De Gea.
What is the game, right? Statistically, right, per 90 minutes, De Gea, on paper, realistically, on the table, has saved per 90 minutes Manchester United more points. Onana, we are just talking about 2022-2023 by the way. De Gea, in his strike season, has saved Manchester United more points than Onana had, statistically. Onana's presence has not led to. I checked the statistics for passes that led to goals. There was none. For Onana.
So there's a way when they say when you don't know where you are going, right? Everywhere looks like road, right? If you think Onana came to play direct assists for the goalkeepers, for the strikers, no, hold on. If you think Onana came to play direct assists for the strikers, it will not happen. Okay, maybe it might happen once or twice this season. Now look at it from this angle. Yesterday we saw Arsenal and City play. Right? If you look at the number of goal kicks, both of them played long, compared to the number of goal kicks, both of them played short. You'll see that most of them went short, and there's a reason why they went short. The reason is because, like I said, Pep said back in 2008 or 2009 that if I'm with the ball, nobody can score me. Right? The basic idea of a ball-playing keeper is to, number one, recycle possession, number two, be a lot more tidy with the ball. Right? Now, if you look at how attackers press Onana and how attackers press De Gea, there's a clear difference. Everybody backs off Onana. Because what will happen is, if you go for him, you have 9 outfield players against 10 outfield United players, right? The players cannot afford to take that chance. So they back off and they make him play the short passes. Eventually, United have to tease people out, then Onana goes long. With De Gea, teams are willing to do the 10 versus 9 because they know that De Gea will play it long and aimless.
Since you like stats, I'll just give you a few more stats to go and read up on, and it will give you more insight to why, in your own words, there's no significant increase as to Onana's distribution percentage. I need you to go and look at Manchester United midfielders and their aerial duels. The percentage of aerial duels won in comparison to other players in the league. Manchester United are in the bottom 5 with regards to that. What does that mean? If a goal kick is taken long, if there's a second ball, if by any chance there's an aerial ball in the midfield, there are 15 teams with midfield who are more likely to win it before Manchester United midfielders do. No matter how accurate your goalkeeper is, if it's coming to you and I can bully you off the ball before the ball lands, it's not the goalkeeper anymore, is it? It's down to the midfielders. Check their aerial duels, check their total duels. There's a reason Onana's passing percentage increases when certain players are on the pitch, because these players duel better for the ball. Secondly, I would just like you to compare the, not just the quality, but also the availability of the same set of players that De Gea had and Onana had. Now, let me give you context as to why I said that. Football is about systems, it's about patterns. The more you can replicate a pattern of play, the easier it is for you to do it over and over again. The better you become at it, the more unstoppable you are once you start that pattern. If you doubt this, look at the goals Manchester United have conceded. There's a pattern to it. There's that shows a glaring weakness in the team. Look at the number of goals that Arsenal has scored through Saka's wing. There's a pattern to it. There's a sequence of passing to it. Why? Because these things are trained. Now, if you remove certain players from the system and bring in other players who are not used to that system, who are not used to that pattern, the pattern will fall apart. Because some players will not know where to be. This thing is muscle memory. I don't have to look up to scan because I know where. Shaw doesn't have to look up to scan because he knows where Martinez will be. Martinez knows where Varane will be. Varane knows where Wan-Bissaka will be. And I assure you that Dalo and Wan-Bissaka will not be in the same place per time because they think differently. They interpret the game differently. They read the game differently. So Manchester United have gone from Shaw. We started seeing Utama last year, so I will just remove that. We've gone from Shaw to Reguilon in left back.
Shaw to Dalo first.
Shaw to Dalo to Reguilon in left back.
Then Amrabat. Lindelof.
We've gone from Martinez to Lindelof to Maguire to Johnny Evans at left centre back. We've gone from Varane to Lindelof back to Varane and in the last game to Maguire in right centre back. This chopping and changing affect how we bring the ball out of the back. And because ball playing defenders, which are very key to the abilities of ball playing goalkeepers, because there's no, similarly to how there's no, without comprehension, communication is useless. So without ball playing defenders, the ball playing goalkeeper is useless. So if you don't have Martinez on the pitch, who is our best ball playing defender, closest to the goalkeeper, there's going to be a problem. And if you check it, Martinez has been our most unavailable centre back this season. You can't blame Onana for that. Maguire receives the ball and he's shaky. Strikers will press Maguire more than they press Martinez. Check. There's a reason Southgate plays 2 DMs and at times 3 centre backs with 2 DMs. There's a reason he commits that number of bodies to the back when certain players are playing. There's a reason for all these things. If you want to use stats, I will give you the stats to back up why Onana has been, in quotes, unimpressive. When certain players come back, I would like to bring this discussion back and you see the clear difference in Onana's performance.
Okay, I will be there.
We will all be there. When they come back, we will bring this discussion.
Oh, see, Tayo, you know the interesting part.
knowing that you're a regular on this show, I would like to just on this note, on behalf of our whole family, I would like to thank you. I'd like to thank everyone who has been part of today's show. We'll have to adjourn for next week. And we move on to the CSL trip.
We will be back. We will be back. Jeffrey is about to be back. We will be back. When Martinez comes back, when Shaw comes back, when all of them come back, we will be back.
We will be back.
Now we see.